Chaco Golden Knee is a great tarantula for all ages and experience levels. They are hardy, easy to care for, and spend a lot of time out on display. They come from Paraguay and Argentina and can grow up to a 6.5-inch leg span, with males living up to 5 to 7 years, while females can live as long as 20 years in captivity. Spiderlings can be fed flightless fruit flies or pinhead crickets, as well as pre-killed nymph roaches or pre-killed small crickets. Avoid feeding them any prey larger than 2/3 the size of the tarantula. Make sure to remove any uneaten prey within 24 hours and never leave uneaten pieces of prey in the enclosure to help prevent mold and mites. Juveniles can be fed 3 or 4 small to medium crickets once every week or two, depending on the size of their abdomen. Don't use any prey larger than 3/4 the size of the tarantula, and if you have to feed something larger, smash the prey's head before dropping it into the enclosure. This species can go weeks without eating, so check up on them 24 hours after feeding to remove any prey they did not eat, and try again in a week or two. You should wait 5 to 7 days after they molt before trying to feed them again. Adults will eat 5 or 6 large crickets or 1 to 2 large dubia roaches every 3 to 4 weeks, but should be fed based on their abdomen size. If the abdomen is wider than the carapace, then they are well fed, and you can skip feeding them until their abdomen is the same size or smaller than their carapace. Again, always remove any uneaten prey or boluses within 24 hours and wait 10 to 14 days after a molt before attempting to feed again. This tarantula will eat crickets, mealworms, and feeder roaches. The amount you feed them will be dependent on the size of the prey. They will have an excited feeding response once they sense prey is nearby, so be prepared for them to lunge towards their food once you drop it in there. The smallest spiderlings can be kept in the sling crib until they reach about 3/4 of an inch in size. The cuboid mini, slider crib mini, and 3-inch cube enclosures are also great fits for this species. Fill the enclosure up a little over halfway with substrate. Provide a small water dish or drip water on the corner of the substrate and the side of the enclosure every few days so they can drink if needed. Some good enclosure options for juvenile Chaco Golden Knees are the 6-inch cube, small cuboid, and small slider cribs. Again, fill the enclosure up a little over halfway with substrate, and provide a hide and a water dish that's no wider than the tarantula's leg span. For adults, you want to use enclosures no smaller than 3 times the leg span of the tarantula. So the large slider crib, 12-inch cube, large cuboid, and terrestrial extra-large cribs are great options for adults, while the 8-inch cube, medium slider, and medium cuboid will work well for subadults. You set these enclosures up the same way as the smaller ones. Fill the enclosure up at least halfway with substrate, provide a hide and water dish, and any decorations as long as they are not sharp or heavy. The Chaco Golden Knee is quite the excavator at any stage of life, so don't spend too much time meticulously setting up its enclosure, as it will spend most of its night rearranging everything and destroying any elaborate setting you may have made. They are typically very docile, but temperament can vary by species and even change with each molt. This is an amazing tarantula to observe with their bright gold accents and beautiful appearance. They are usually out on display and not very skittish. They make for wonderful beginner species and are relatively inexpensive and widely available. Overall, this species is a staple in the hobby because it is an amazing tarantula in many ways. It is easy to care for, docile, and a must-have for any collection. So give your Chaco Golden Knee an enclosure as amazing as they are, and check out the full line of high-end acrylic enclosures for tarantulas and other invertebrates at tarantulacribs.com.